This is Pastor Phil Vickers. Hello to the good people of Shepherd of the Lake and our network of family and friends. I hope you're having a wonderful week. As we continue our Lenten journey this upcoming Sunday as we gather for worship, we're going to be hearing in our first lesson about the story of the giving of the Ten Commandments, and in our second, in our gospel lesson actually, about the cleansing of the temple. Both wonderful texts that speak great volumes to us in our lives of faith. One of the things we see from that Exodus reading and the giving of the Ten Commandments is that God's demands placed on our life in the commandments are predicated, that they spring from this statement of who God is. He says, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, and then begins the commandments, you shall have no other gods before me. So the same with our walk of faith. All that we do in honoring God and living out our freedom as Christians is based upon who God is and what God has done for us. And in particular, we think of how God has blessed us by sending his son to die for us on the cross. So God is, and God has acted for our benefit, and therefore we live out lives of thankfulness, honoring God in the way we live, in the way we treat each other, in the way we treat the stranger and the needy. All those things, like in that story, are based in who God is and what God has already done. It is a because therefore situation. Because God is and because he has blessed us so in Christ, therefore we live lives of thankfulness by honoring God, by honoring his people. And the story of the cleansing of the temple is actually really interesting, and we're going to get more into that in the sermon, but just a snippet about that. Sometimes we think about that story as only being about what is appropriate in holy spaces. We know that Jesus made himself a whip and drove out the people selling doves and other animals to be sacrificed, and he overturns the money changers' tables. So it is partially, at least, about what he says in John, you have made this a den of robbers rather than a house of prayer. But also, we're going to see in the sermon, there's another level, another layer to what that's about, and it has to do with the Gentile people, with foreigners, and about their place in God's plan of salvation. So I encourage you to come to worship and hear about what Jesus is up to as he drives out those selling doves and overturns those tables. And it has to do with God's love for all people, not just one select group. So do come and hear about that. God's blessings to you, and we will see you in church.